Welcome to the Spa Girls podcast. Each week we bring you self-publishing tips, tools and resources for authors. I'm Cheryl Phipps.
I'm Shah Barrett.
And I'm Wendy Vella. Hello, everyone.
Hi, all.
Welcome.
Just the three of us this week.
Yes, Triddles is like, as usual, swanning off on some holiday doing après-ski stuff, you know. She does.
Can you do après-ski if you haven't done the actual ski? Like, you got to do this.
I think a lot of people just go and carry their skis on their shoulder and then wander in for
take some
mulled wine, don't they?
Well, or your hot chocolate. So
Exactly.
Sounds like hell.
So today we're going to talk hot wire your publishing for the holidays. So
yes.
Did I get that right?
You did.
Perfect.
So basically what we're talking about is it's time to think and get organized about what you're going to market, price reduce, tweak, recover, whatever for the holidays, and how you're going to promote it, and what email newsletter signups you're going to go and things like that. So
you're probably all sitting there grimacing and going, "Oh my gosh, it's only June."
It is,
or
July, actually, to be fair, because this year, as I mentioned this week, it's this year has just zoomed by. I'm pretty sure I say that every year.
Yeah, well, we're recording in June, but it will be July that you guys are listening.
Exactly.
But it is really, seriously, it's time to start thinking about it, because we've got some really good ideas.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's going to be here before we know it. So,
and we're kind of defining the holiday period as really from November through to January. So it's kind of their 3-month area.
Yeah.
So
and I'd just also like to add that because we are sort of July, that very often people are doing like mid-year Christmas promos as well. So
winter Christmas.
There's that.
For those of us in the southern hemisphere that don't get the cold winter, this is cold winter for Christmas. This is our
cold winter right now.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see we've got scarves on.
Yeah.
I have my heat pump on. It's all go. Okay, so let's start with some what we think are some options for you to start looking at. One of the things that I've seen other authors do is, first of all, you've got to plan, right? You've got to plan what books you've got that you are going to promote price reduced coming into the Christmas season. But do you just promote books that have got a Christmas content? No,
not necessarily. If you haven't got,
I agree. I think
holiday ones, but it could be something that's like a winter or of a cover, for example, or a small town that's got a wintry cover that could, it doesn't have to be a strong.
I agree.
You don't have to have Christmas balls on the cover unless you're writing,
no,
Elf Shifter.
No. So anyway, what I'm saying is you don't have to have a Christmas book, but here's the thing: we're in July. If your writing schedule allows it, why not write a Christmas novella that will go with something you've already written, or even stand alone? But it's something that every year gives you something to promote at this time of year that does focus on Christmas.
And that's both of you have done that, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. But I think also if time is really, really short, you could actually do a short story. And this was something that Wendy talked about prior to us coming on the podcast, was that if you got some friends together, you could put those short stories into a book bundle and get that out for Christmas. But then you've got that product that you can keep using. So if you added to that over the next few years, you would have your own Christmas anthology, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, so that's what I did. With my historicals, I went into all of these different book with other authors. I went into every year. I went into a Christmas box set with all these novellas. So I ended up with like 6 novellas that I've then box setted myself.
And you can change it up. You don't have to put it up for all year. You can put it up, bring it down, put it up, bring it down, and change the cover around each year.
Pricing is massive. Pricing is massive. So if we start at the very beginning, planning, right? So what's to plan? Plan is checking blurbs are okay, that back matter's okay, that you're happy with the cover, or would you like to get a little bit of holly put on the cover? It doesn't cost a lot to go back to the designer who's already got the template for it, and you say, could you just make this a bit Christmassy for me? That's the thing we can do as indies, right? We can go
or
in
actually take your cover and throw it into BookBrush and add them yourself.
Yes, exactly. All of those things are options. There are cost-effective ways of doing everything, right? Maybe put in the search terms in Amazon, you could put the word Christmas. You know, like just
and your keywords. You mean like go in and change a keyword for any books that you're going to put up at that time, and just change it to Christmas. Or holiday, or vacation.
All those sort of things, blurbs, everything. So those are all little things that you can work on, but you've also then got to work on, okay, if I'm going to release this book, I need to reduce the price at a set time, and then what am I going to do with it? How am I going to promote it? So if that book's $4.99 and you're, say, going to reduce it to $1.99 or 99 cents or whatever, then you want to market that book so that it rises to the top. So you want, how are you going to do that? Is it going to be Amazon ads, Facebook ads, or are you going to go and contact people like Books Butterfly or Red Feather Romance, people like that? And that takes time because that's planning.
Yeah, you've got to book out ahead, don't you?
I actually think that above everything else is your timeline. Your timeline for everything, because if you work back from Christmas, you will know when you're going to have to put these things into. It's a good idea to have the plan of what book you're going to use and when you're going to do the reduction, but you actually have to put it into a timeline so that it happens at the right time, because you don't want to reduce a book now for Christmas, obviously, but you know, it's got to be done in time for it to matter.
And often people talk about November as being the time, or even October, don't they, for publishing actually holiday specific books. People are starting to get into the vibe, you know, certainly by November anyway.
And you don't forget, if you're in KU, you've got your 5 free days as well. If you just don't want to reduce to 99 cents, you could see if you could get a promotion on a site, i.e. Red Feather Romance, whatever, and you could go in a freebie, free Booksy, and then you can use your 5 free days for that option. With regards to those, you can't book that far out in a lot of them, can you, Share?
Yes,
I can't remember. So you have to make a note in your diary. I can't remember what that time frame is, but it's closer to where now you wouldn't be able to book for December.
But by the same token, you don't want to leave it like a couple of weeks out and think, oh gosh, I must put these in. You're going to be planning way ahead for some of them, and a bit closer for others.
And of course, then we're coming into Black Friday, which is what, just after Thanksgiving, I think? So Black Friday is another option. I'm not saying I'm not a huge fan of it, only because I haven't had a lot to do with it, but to put Black Friday sale on one of your books and put it up at that time, it's not to say that it's not going to do well. And obviously there'll be promo sites that are around Black Friday, I'm sure, that you can put your book in. So that can start the ball rolling as well. You know?
And of course Cyber Monday, which
I mean,
it's the same thing. As a casual observer, they sort of seem to have merged into like a shopping frenzy end of November. I mean, the irony that here we are in New Zealand, never grown up with the concept of Thanksgiving, and we're as publishers, you still have to be aware of holidays and major markets, even if you're not a member of that major market.
That's exactly right. So we talk about planning, but I also, with regards to the sign up email newsletter promotion sites, we'll put the link to David Cochran's that he always does every year. He's got this amazing link which has all of those sites on it, and the ones he recommends right through. I mean, it's a reference tool I go to quite often.
I still use his before I use any others.
So okay, we've got those things done. The other thing is, a lot I saw last year, and it's not something I'd seen until last year, was a Christmas advent calendar. Now I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on this on how it works, but I saw some authors all band together and then they promoted them on their sites the 12 days of Christmas, and every day.
Can I just clarify though, we're not talking a printed advent calendar where you poke out the things and you get a chocolate. It's a digital advent calendar, if you like.
My grandchildren, I had those for my grandchildren, and I went in one day to look at them and all the chocolate was gone on like
that seems about right.
Apparently you can get them for adults that have got wine, and then you get some
I've
that
got
are
a friend
cheese.
who gets them beer and everything. So these ones are book ones, and then you ebooks. Okay,
ebooks.
Obviously, clearly you get a link or something, and then you would put it on your Facebook page or email newsletter or Insta, whatever you want to promote it on.
And basically, you're all sharing that those 12 books.
Yeah.
One day after the other.
And just deliver them through what, Book Funnel or somewhere like that, so you're not actually
Book Funnel, Amazon, wherever you wanted to do them through. But the point is, it's not all on you if you've got other authors doing it.
Hey, it's a brilliant idea. I love that idea.
It's just a promotional tool, isn't it?
And you could set it up yourself. If you don't know of one, then you could, like, I would say, try and get people in the same genre or subgenre. So if you're writing cozy witches, then try and get other cozy witches kind of thing. But I think it's lovely.
Like that. I think
cool idea.
I think also you've got to be very mindful of Christmas. Christmas is a crazy time anyway, because you're usually organising your family or friends or whatever. So I think getting organised now, you know, you're talking to someone who never gets organised pre anything. You know, I just rock up and just hope everyone else is organised for me. But this is something I think it's a way to promote yourself, but it also takes the stress away from what's going to happen coming into Christmas. And you don't want to be starting at the last minute, you know, at the end of November and go, oh wow, I haven't done anything for Christmas.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, that panic at the last minute is you know, we try to avoid that at all costs these days.
Yeah, we do. But also
we're panic averse.
And remember to promote after Christmas, right up until sort of New Year's and just after, because people have got Kindles they've received or whatever,
gift cards,
and they'll download. So keep promoting right up until after New Year's, because people are quite often home during those days or just after New Year's, like that. And so that's your time. I found when I'm advertising, those are my biggest days, are those 26th through to say the 3rd of Jan are real big. If people are going to buy, that's your time to do it. I think also you've got to be aware that you're competing with some of the big dogs for advertising space at that time of year.
And Facebook ads notoriously go up just in general. The cost of clicks in December, because every man and his dog is advertising on Facebook, everything. But then they go down again in January. Or when I say go down, it's all relative, but things get a little calmer. So
and the thing is, I think, so how can we future-proof ourselves? You know, like, because mentally I think I don't know about you guys, but I'm just about burnt out already.
It's been had a huge
good news. It's halfway through the year.
No, but
exactly, I agree. I think your preparation is so true about just, you kind of know it's coming, and every year I get surprised by, it's suddenly Christmas in 3 weeks, you know.
So I think what do we need to do for ourselves? Okay, we've talked about our books, and we've talked about you know, what we need to do to promote books more, make money, because let's face it, we're going to be spending money coming into Christmas. So for ourselves personally, I mean, I am planning to make sure I get a break. Right. So if I can get most of the legwork done leading up to sort of November, I want to enjoy December, January. Those are my 2 months that I would really like to kick back, spend time with the family, maybe go on a bit of a vacation or something like that. So
what's that?
That's a vacation, right?
So
to do that, what do we have to do?
You know, and that's where the forward planning comes in, I think. And be smart about, when I say be smart about it, try and work what you've already got established. So if you've got 1 or 2 series that are doing well, try and build on those. So like do your Christmas, if you're writing a Christmas novella, write it in one of those worlds.
Absolutely.
So amp up what you've already got rather than trying to strike out something new.
And would you start also planning for the following year, so you've got that December, January free? I mean, maybe thinking about what your year is going to look like next year can start be moving into your head now too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and I think just notice your energy levels too at different times. For us, our Christmas is summer, so that tends to be, we get a bit more vitamin D, and it tend to be a little bit perkier than in the middle of winter. But for our North American friends, it's the other way around. So
I mean, I think it's real, like, it's vitally important to look after yourself, because you know Christmas is crazy, and in America they have Thanksgiving as well, so there's like a double whammy of it's all go. So I'm going to sit down over the next sort of month, and I'm going to plan my next year, because I want to get all of that done, everything done. So what I'm going to sit down and do is work out editing dates, what books I'm going to write, what covers I need to design, how my months are going to look roughly with advertising. What am I going to work on each month? But that'll
Wendy, I never thought I'd hear the words planning coming out of your mouth.
That's different though, isn't it? It's it's so
I don't know.
It is. I promise you.
Are there stickers involved, Wendy?
No stickers, mate. So I will sit down, and the thing is, it sounds like okay, it's July, right? Why would we be doing that so far out? But I may be an absolute slob on most of my everyday life, and there's no discounting that, but I cannot be shocked. Like I cannot receive, you can't get that edit in then, or you can't get this, or you have to write this, or you have. I need my work life to be more organized than say.
Absolutely.
So,
and let's face it, you've got a book.
Oh, did we just lose Shah?
Yeah.
I think we did. We lost you, Shah.
No.
Did you speak then? Because I didn't hear any of it. Maybe it was me that froze.
It was you. Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay. Was it a pearl that I should have heard?
It was, and I'm not repeating it for
you. Okay. So mentally, how do we look after ourselves? What do we
I think that's a really, really important point. And it often gets lost in the planning, doesn't it? We're planning for productivity, but I think also we need to plan in some buffer time. And if that's a time when you've got a lot of things going on over that holiday season, building that into your schedule, I think takes away that horrible feeling that you should be doing something else. That's not enjoyable.
No. I think if you've managed to plan well for Christmas, then you certainly deserve some time off.
Yeah.
And you just plan that in too. And that's that's just part of life. If you can organize everything else, then you can organize that, and you should, because we need to take care of ourselves. I'm so sorry about the sun.
For anyone watching this on YouTube, Cheryl's got a beam of light directly on her face. It's quite hilarious. Yeah, mentally, it's not something that I ever really think overly much about, but burnout's real, and you don't want to start the following year feeling burnt out. So this is your time to get organized, say, okay, well, I'm going to stop writing in X, give myself X amount of days off, whether you need 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, whatever. You've got to, I think you have to plan it, because we work for ourselves. We haven't got an employer saying to us, right, you're getting 4 weeks off this year.
Yeah,
okay, I don't want you to work at all. So that's not happening, and so you have to make it happen. Go, Sean.
One of the things that has worked really well for us as spa girls, and particularly when I have just taken some weeks to travel away, I pre-scheduled everything when it was my turn on social media, and I did that 2 months out, and that is such a relief. And you don't need any flash system. I just did it in the Facebook planner for our Spa Girls page, and I pre-scheduled our, when it was my turn to load the podcast and all of that. And I think if you can do that ahead of time, even if it's only a week over that Christmas period, then that can also help you as well. It just is one less task for you to think about when you're trying to wrangle a turkey or whatever into the oven.
I'm always wrangling turkeys. It's just
wrangling turkeys,
okay, what we're talking about here is we have to plan. We have to have a plan in place. So that's a diary or a wall planner or whatever. And on that planner has to be the dates that you're going to have to reduce your books and prices, if you're going to change covers, if you've got promotions, holiday time, all of those things, ads that are running, when you're going back to work, when you're first, those sort of things, booking in your first edit for the new year, instead of halfway through your holiday going, oh crap, I finished a book, but I haven't, I haven't edited. So what I did last year is I stopped writing. My last book this year to write is August, finishes in August. But what I will do is I will keep writing so that my first edit next year is done. That's the plan, like have a book so that I can then go forward and go, right, so that I can start the year maybe wanting to put 6 books out or 5 books out or 4 books out, but one of those books is already written.
Yeah. So you're kind of starting with a win on the board already. It's a good feeling.
It is a really good feeling.
Yeah.
And I did that this year, and it was really awesome to go into January knowing that I had a book coming out and I didn't have too much to do to get it ready.
Because there's nothing worse than that panicky feeling constantly of, I've got to finish book, have I got an edit, I'm not going to make it, and I mean, I think after a long year, you really cannot afford to allow that to happen mentally. I think it's really hard because you will go into the year frazzled.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I feel like that sometimes.
Talking of frazzled, another scheduling thing that you can do as well is start thinking about pre-planning some newsletters to go out, and maybe you could do like I don't know, let's say 4 weeks of Christmas newsletters, so like one a week, and you could give your peeps like free end scenes or free whatever, like you could reward your newsletter peeps at the end of the year with stuff with product that you've already produced. You don't necessarily have to create something new, but it could be something like family Christmas recipes or something like that. It's nice to get into the theme without putting a huge amount of effort in. But if you start thinking about that before time, then in the middle of December when the clock is ticking loudly, that also, and again, you can pre-schedule that. You can start thinking about the graphics that you would use. You can go into deposit photos and get a month-long subscription, and you've got, you can do it in Canva and BookBrush as well, but if you want stock photos, they've got all the pre-done Christmas flat lays and all that kind of stuff, so you don't have to make it as, I think what we're trying to say is make it as easy for yourself as possible by front loading some of the work.
If you can take some of that away, Facebook ads, email newsletters, because you've got things like Instagram for those that are doing TikTok, those you just don't want to walk away from those for a month or two because you lose complete traction. So make it as easy on yourself as you can. Get your newsletters and your Facebook scheduled. The things you can schedule, do. And then that leaves you just with a couple of socials that you've got to get in and deal with. And I think that just lightens the load a bit, because there's nothing worse on Christmas Day when you just got to zip it. I'll be back in a minute. I've just got to zip away and post a few things, No.
It's never 5 minutes, is it?
No. We say, just be a minute. It's not happening. So you've got to treat this. We always say you have to treat this like a job. And it is a job. It's your full-time job. Therefore, treat it like a full-time job and give yourself the holidays and give yourself the organization to have that holiday. I think those are real vitally important things for your well-being going into the new year. And then plan so that when you come back in the new year, you're not going, oh gosh, I forgot this, and just rushing. So plan that newsletter for the new year, plan that Facebook post for the new year, so that when you come back, you can just ease into it.
And just on that note too, as somebody that is a huge scheduler ahead of time, write down what you've done, because I can guarantee that you won't remember when it gets to a few weeks later. So I always keep a note of what I've booked and what I've scheduled or whatever in my diary at that time, so you can go back, because you think you'll remember, but I don't know.
So ways to schedule and plan. We've got wall planners, we've got diaries. We've got
Trello is a huge one that I absolutely love. You can get the free plan with a few boards on that, and that's a fantastic one for sharing with other people as well. If you're setting up, for example, that advent calendar with other authors, you could create a Trello board, and that's people have access to it and load their own blurbs and things like that in there. It's a great way of as a collaborative tool for that. Obviously you've got Google Sheets as well for that, but
you've all those things to get organized. The other thing I wanted to touch on was reader groups. So don't forget those. So Christmas, they're your special people. So those are the ones you want to reward. So work out a little something, a couple of days, get them involved and have a Christmas party online in your group one day, whatever. But reward them for being faithful readers who love you, who are in your team. And that's the time to do it. Really, really acknowledge them and offer them something too.
Give them that free short story that you've written, or novella.
Exactly. Anything along those lines. Deleted scenes is another great one. Characters coming in and taking over and chatting or whatever. All of those things I think are really, really good, and that's the time to really acknowledge them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I also wanted to add in, because I kind of missed this step as well when we were talking about pre-scheduling promotions. If you go into your Draft to Digital or Kobo dashboard, you'll find promotion tabs there, and you can actually set up promotions for the future, so they don't have to be starting now. So I mean, I don't know how far out you can do them, whether 6 months is too far, but again, write down that you've done it. But that's it. When you decide on what books you're going to promote, then it's good to actually have those set up, set and forget.
Yeah.
Basically, it's Christmas proofing, right? Christmas and holiday proofing.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything, all your ducks are in a row, so that you can have that break and get that mind reset to start the year, because it will start and then you'll be back down the road of writing, promoting, and nothing changes. So I think that's when we burn out, when we just keep going right through, right? I've done that before. I've worked right through. I've gone away on holiday and still been working. Not only do my family resent it, but I find I resent it too, because I haven't allowed myself the organizational time to have that break.
Yeah.
So I think so. I think we've pretty much touched on most things there.
I think so. If that we've forgotten anything, or if you've got anything to add, we'd love to hear it in the comments, either on the YouTube video here or on the post on the podcast webpage or on our socials, because I think this is it's one thing to be planning ahead from the publishing point of view, from the business point of view, but if not more so, it's also for your personal care point of view, and that's what we're hoping to convey today. Is it's just as important both ways.
I think we've seen and heard authors online, because we're such an online community, that haven't given themselves a break and are really struggling now.
There's a lot of burnout around. I'm reading a lot of authors that are really, I think, the last few crazy years have been in and of itself very stressful, but I think, there's a lot going on in publishing. When isn't there? And it's tiring. It can be very tiring.
And I think it's a huge changing industry. Like 1 minute we're on track because we think we've got it sorted, and the next minute we've swung and Amazon or Facebook or someone has changed the landscape, so we've had to adjust and change again. And it's a tough gig. Wouldn't be doing anything else, but there are moments where you think, whoa, I haven't got this in me anymore.
It does feel a little bit like you're on a boat on a wave that you don't really have a lot of control over.
No, riding one of those big waves is constant. So take care of yourselves. Spend a little bit of time, even if you don't sit down and plan now, but spend a little bit of time thinking about what we've said about planning and getting yourself organized, so that you can have a really nice Christmas with friends or family or whoever you want to spend it with.
Or just with yourself, just a quiet time with
yourself. A little bit of you time. A little bit of you time.
You've actually got time now. You've got time. It's coming.
You're your own employer, so cut yourself some slack and take some time off.
And
get planning.
If you need a leave form, we can provide you with one.
We can do that. Shah could mock one up. We'll put the link, anything, just let us know.
Actually, I'll do that. I'll do exactly that. I'm going to do an upload again on the show notes on our Facebook, on our website page. I'm going to do a Spa Girls permission slip to take some time out.
And you can send it back to us and we'll sign it off and say, you go girl, boy, whoever you are. All right. I think we've talked enough there, but we'd like to say a huge thank you to all our Patreon supporters. You guys have been amazing.
You guys
we really appreciate you. If you'd like to buy us a coffee or send us a high five or join our Facebook group or, take us to Hawaii, we really appreciate it.
In our Facebook group, we've got handouts, we've got videos, we've got chat, we've got ask anything.
And we'll kind of share in there too. And we always do kind of our process for how we're doing things as well in terms of planning, and we all do different things. So
because let's face it, we always get it right, don't we?
So just go to patreon.com/Spa Girls Podcast for that, or come along to our website at spargirlspodcast.com.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us for another episode of Spa Girls, and we will see you again next week.
See you next time.
Bye.